The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up? Welcome back, guys. It is Cowboys StoryLine. I am Nick Eatman. It's Wednesday, March 19th. March 19th. Makes me sad. It's my oldest daughter's birthday. She's 18 years old. My God, I can't do it. Sorry, can't do that. Can't believe she's 18 today. She's the one that kind of helped me come up with the name Cowboys StoryLine when we were bouncing around different names, and so she helped me with that. I don't know if she's ever listened, but she got her own stuff going on. But she's on spring break, 18 years old. I can't believe I have an 18-year-old. All right. Speaking of 18, 19, how many guys have the Cowboys signed since this started? I think it's 21, actually. 11 of their own players, 10 new guys. Pretty active so far. Not the big splash that I think everyone was hoping for, or still, maybe it's still out there. But they've definitely been active. They've made moves. They've made a couple trades here. They've signed some guys, put some Band-Aids on some positions. That's kind of what happens in free agency. And so I think, from that standpoint, in my opinion, it's been somewhat positive. We can talk about it to you guys, 888-855-2297. We'll see how you guys think that, it's gone in your mind, but I think it's been pretty good so far. We'll see how things go in the next few days or so. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's start us off here. Carolina, he's on the road. He's in Marshall, Texas. Here we go.
What's going on, man?
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm kind of a little excited. We got back Dante Fowler. I think that was a pretty decent addition. So, gave me something to smile about. Got a couple questions for you today, bud, and happy birthday to your daughter, man.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I have an 18-year-old also. Oh. Well, no, I lied. She's 19 now.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
It's different.
They're different, man. Hey, I don't care what nobody say, though. I like it when they're this age, between 19, 18, and 20, other than 13 and 15. Hey, that stage right there is rough. So you made it through the hard part, man. You made it through the hard part.
Yeah.
But yeah, more football. So, what do you think about the Sanborn signing versus the Murray signing? What do you get out of that? Because I think that one player has more ceiling. I think that Murray is going to be your floor guy. He coming, he do. He tackles. He's I'm going to say a machine, but he had the highest amount of tackles for his team last year. So that's something that I look forward to. But I think that with Sanborn, he has more room to develop. What do you think?
I think that they are, from what I've seen about and heard about both of them, they're kind of like almost opposite in that one guy, Murray, is more of a fly around the ball, make a lot of tackles, but he's also a guy that's a little bit undersized. You could run at, so you got to make sure he doesn't get the tackles and guards engaged in him too much and locked down on him, because he can get kind of bullied out of the way, but just off his size. But he is productive. Sanborn's a little bit more bigger guy, doesn't fly around as much, but also is a pretty good tackler as well. Bigger, stronger guy. So I think both of them will complement each other pretty well.
Okay. So my next question, all right, with all the signings, where do you think that 12 spot is going to be? What position are you thinking now? Because they've added different position groups, and they've tried to, sure up, I say, linebacker, defensive end, got a new guard, got some running backs, and we got a corner. So where would your mindset be? Don't say receiver, because, that'd be the obvious answer. Got a receiver thing.
That's not that wouldn't be my answer. My answer, when I look at the positions on this team, well, first of all, I'll answer that, but what's your answer? Because I know if you ask the question, that means you've got the answer. What is your opinion there, Carolina?
people going to say I'm probably crazy, but I think if Genty's there at 12, you take Genty. But if he's not there, I'm looking at a trade back scenario. And honestly, it's between corner or wide receiver. I really can't decide. That's why I said, what would your best option be?
All right. Well, I appreciate it. We're going to keep the lines moving here, and we might. Thanks for the call, Carolina. We might. I'm just going to say might have a surprise today, a surprise visitor, but that's all I'm going to say because you never know. Doesn't always pan out, but if so, just be ready. But my answer to that would be, when I look at all the positions on this team, what position has a Pro Bowler, at least at some point in their career? And the one position that I don't see that is offensive tackle. Defensive tackle's another, but you just signed Osa to a $20 million a year contract. He hasn't made a Pro Bowl yet, but you're expecting that he will, or you're expecting that he's going to be that kind of player. Your safeties, they haven't made a Pro Bowl, but I think they both got second contracts, and so or extensions. They should be fine there. Linebacker, I guess, hasn't had one either. But again, you've made moves there. Offensive tackle is one that I just think that where can you be great? And I'm fine with the running back. If it's Genty, I'm fine with that. I've seen some other running back, I guess, from North Carolina, Hampton. Now we're getting crazy in here, throwing another back in there. I don't know about that for that spot at 12. I like that tackle guard combo player. I'd be fine if it was of a defensive tackle or even an edge rusher. I'm fine with that. You can't have too many of those. So I just think free agency has helped them kind of put some positions in place, and then they can go and do what they always do and try to take the best player and not really have to reach for need or whatever. I think last year, they did have to get an offensive tackle in Tyler Guyton. But I think they're going to be in a spot where they can really take the best player, and they do have a lot of needs. So I like where they stand right now. All right, let's go to Irene in Falls Church, Virginia.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Doing well. I just caught on when you said that's a surprise visit, so I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever it is, it sounds like something I want, so let's get it. Anyway, I was going to ask you, so I was born in 1986. I know that the 1983 season was important to you, but I'm wondering if we're about to hit the anniversary of the debut of Michael Jackson's Moonwalk. I don't know if you saw that either live or around the time it came, but I have never seen quite the homage to it like DeMarcus Lawrence backtracking on his comment. Anyway, I'll leave that there. All right, so the actual point of my call, I'm wondering.
I was like, where are we going there? Okay, we're doing the tank. Are we gonna do the tank stuff? You know what, Irene? I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because
all right, go ahead.
You're kind of the, you're the level-headed, person of the group. You're of this group, caretaker. What is your thoughts on DeMarcus Lawrence there, and what? Because I really don't know what all. I've seen stuff on social media, but I don't know what everyone's opinion of what happened, and then the backtrack and all that good stuff.
Okay, yeah. So for me, honestly, it had me laughing because I get it. Like a lot of us fans also feel like we're far away from a Super Bowl. So I feel like some of that was people feeling like, okay, but I can talk about my family, but you can't talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it just had me laughing because the implication of the Seahawks being where he could chase a Super Bowl. I mean,
right.
I'm sorry, but if somebody is further away than us, it's probably them. But so I didn't take great offense at it, but the back and forth between Micah and him, I will say, I know people got on Micah for, airing it out. I like it. I want somebody, if they feel offended, like the brotherhood, the team was attacked, I'm fine with that. Go, be a leader. Be that leader.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That part I really liked. But anyway, it is what it is. I do wish him the best. I don't really begrudge him for what he said. It's fine. Just funny. But my call was going to be about if you think that we're going to make a move at wide receiver, if there's any talk in the building about that.
Yeah.
I know there's some decent ones in the draft that we might be in position to get, but just wondering if we'll fill that hole. Like, do you get the sense they're waiting a little longer to see if Keenan Allen or somebody's price gets lower?
Yeah.
And that's it.
All right.
Thanks,
Irene. I do think that there was some interest on the Cooper Cup front. Now, it was always going to be, it's always about the money. And yes, I think that they had interest, but they knew that he was going to probably, command a lot more money than that, and it was going to be out of their price range. Was it a fit? Yeah, I think it was to them. So when you say all that, it's just kind of like the Dre Greenlaw stuff. Okay, there was interest there. They almost had him. They thought they didn't work out. Now what? I mean, obviously they're trying to get a linebacker, so that's where we saw what happened after that, with them signing Sanborn and trading for Murray and all that. But it's same with running backs or any of these other positions that they look like they almost had. There's obviously a need there for that type of player. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's another move there. I don't know of one right now. I'm not sandbagging here. I don't have anything for you, but I do believe that is something that there was some interest in, and I think they would try to bring back. Or to bring a veteran receiver in here. I say bring back. I was thinking of Brandon Cooks. They've already given his number away, actually, but number 3, but he could still come back. He's played, before, but on many different numbers, many different teams. I just don't think, though, that's where they're headed there. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to try to get a veteran receiver. All right, let's go to Davion in Illinois. Davion.
What it do, man? What's going on?
How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, just getting out of work, but hey, I got in this week, man. It was a struggle last week, but I'm happy to get on this week.
You got it.
Yeah. So I guess the Twitter streets was ablaze with Michael Parsons' brother yesterday, kind of dropping tea leaves that we might be having a deal pretty soon with Micah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that my prediction is coming true. We'll see. What time will tell. But I predicted, I told Dylan and all of them that we're gonna sign Michael early. We're not gonna play around with this one. We're gonna go and get him done because his last 2 years of dragging stuff out it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I do think. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he was doing or how much he's in the know. I really don't know him, Micah's brother. I don't know that. I know that it seems like he's trying to have some fun on social media, and this is maybe his moment as well. I don't know. I do know this. It's not close. I do think that there's movement. I'll say that. I think there's movement, but in a deal like this, it's going to take a lot more of the heavy negotiating, and I don't know if they're even there yet, but I do think the ball is rolling. I don't know how fast it is rolling, but I think that there's some discussions here, and it could be a sooner than later thing.
Okay. Well, a couple more questions I'm going to get off. What of the free agent signing of the outside guys you are more excited about to kind of see how they fit with the team? And do you think we probably going to get signed either a wide receiver or a nose tackle before draft?
Yeah, I just think numbers-wise with a defensive tackle, yes, I think you have to. I mean, you don't have a lot of depth there at all. Now, I don't know exactly how they're going to play. Was it Solomon Thomas? I mean, he's been an end and a tackle. He's probably going to be a tackle. I think, though, they do need a nose tackle, somebody with some one technique type. I could see that, and I also, like I said in the previous call, I do think a wide receiver is going to be added to the group here, probably a veteran, but nobody that would stop them from drafting a receiver at 12 if that's where they want to go. And that really might be the play here. It might be a 12 at wide receiver because you don't know what you've got it with your number 2 receiver. And I'm thinking of like the next year, and moving forward. Even if you sign a guy, that doesn't mean he's going to be here next year. Jalen Tolbert might not be here next year, and don't look now, but C.D. Lamb's one of your.
Give me Ted McMillan. I'm on the Ted train now. Either him or Genty at 12 for me, but we'll see how it play out.
All right,
but
I haven't seen him play a lot. Have you, McMillan? I haven't. I really can't say I've watched. I've been
watching tape since he's back. He's kind of fallen to it. Cause at first, I didn't think he was gonna make it to it because he was 6'5". You just can't teach that. So they usually don't last long in the draft, but. Since he's kind of falling back to us, he ran a 4.5 the other day. I'm thinking maybe we might have a chance at it because now they talking about Genty might be gone, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, I mean that would be a definite a big time playmaker, and and I think any quarterback that's jumping into the mix or any other players that's what happens. These guys are moving up and down the board and. That's been talked about so much on which guys are going to get drafted and who's going to fall and who's going to move up and a guy like McMillan, who again I haven't seen him play a lot, but I know that the guys that have and you are one of them really like his game and just he's got those characteristics that, like you said, can't be taught. So. I'd be fine with that at receiver. I've changed my tune a little bit because of free agency, just looking at needs and how much where things can really help you. I'd be fine if that was the play there at 12. All right.
Yep.
You got anything else, Davian?
Oh man, just nothing much. Excited about getting up there to Oxnard in the summer.
All right.
Hey, we'll talk next week if I can get in.
All right, that's going to be fun for sure. All right, let's go to Dylan, Northport, Florida. Dylan, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just a quick and easy question for you. Who do you think would have been more difficult to replace? Would you have tried to sign Jordan Lewis over Osa if you had to choose between the two of them, or do you think the Cowboys kind of got it right here with Osa over Jordan Lewis? And I know they made offers to Jordan, try to keep him, but it just wasn't enough. Who would you rather have kept in that scenario?
I would have rather kept Osa, honestly. And I say that not because that's the move they made. It's because of when you think about the position that they play and also just where they are in their career. I mean, like, you're getting a guy in Osa for, 4 or 5 more years for sure. It's a 4-year deal, but he's going to be here now for the majority of his career. As for Jordan, he was signing 1-year deals, and now he basically got like a 2-year deal with Jacksonville. But there's not a lot of future there, and there's nobody else on the roster that can kind of do what Osa does. They do believe that Deron Bland can play some slot if they need to, and. That'll be a position that they're going to keep looking at. Slot corner, who can slide inside if it's not Deron Bland, who can play on the outside. So there's still a need there. It's a good question, Dylan. It's a really good question because it's closer than I think people would think. But my answer would be Osa. What's your answer?
Okay. Yeah, I have the opposite, and I get what you're saying. I think the age plays a huge factor in it. When you throw that in, then I could 100% see the Osa angle. Personally, in the way I would want to run my defense, and knowing that we just got our asses kicked against the run just year after year after year, I'm looking to really beef up and kind of rebuild the middle of that defensive line. And I feel like having a really, really, really good pass rushing 3 technique is more of a luxury, given you have Micah Parsons and some other guys you're thinking can take a step in that department. Off the edge. I think signing Osa is more of a luxury, even though they got a deal. It was a good deal and all that. I feel like you would have created a hole there. You don't have a lot of bodies, and that's fine. I understand that. I feel like you did the same thing at corner, though. You've created a need there, and sure, Bland can slide inside, but now who's going to play outside? Because you're going to be without Diggs for a while, at least for 2025. You're going to have to draft a guy or sign a guy. I know Asante Samuel's still out there. So, either way, you're creating a hole. And I feel like Jordan Lewis brought an attitude that a lot of us fans kind of have been asking for, like a don't F with me attitude. And I don't think there's a lot of guys on the team. I know it's an intangible. It's tough to say, but I feel like Jordan was the leader of that kind of ball club of the don't mess with me guys alongside like Jake Ferguson and them. And I appreciate that intangible quality. But, yeah, I would have tried to have kept Jordan because you could say he's probably a top 5 nickel cornerback in the league. And Osa is maybe a top 10 to top 15 3 technique in the league, predominantly because of his pass rushing assets. So I would have kept Jordan personally.
All right. I mean, that's fair. Durability is another factor. Obviously, Jordan Lewis has been banged up some. He's tough as nails. I mean, he's one of my favorite players now of all time of covering the Cowboys, Jordan Lewis. I say that, and so I want to make sure that that's clear before, it sounds like I have a different agenda there. I actually really enjoyed covering him because he's just a straight shooter. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's just, it is what it is with him, and I think this team needs that. Now, Osa, from a leadership standpoint, I think Osa has got that as well. I mean, I don't know if they're exactly the same from a personality standpoint, but they are. He's a pretty good a guy in that locker room that the young guys can look up to, and I don't think he's missed a game in 4 years. I could be wrong with that, but I don't think so. I don't think he's missed a game. So the position that he plays right there in the trenches, that's that's obviously a good sign. You want that. And I think just over the next 4 or 5 years, I mean, Eberflus came in and, he talked about what he wanted from his defense, and he loved Osa from the get-go. So I think that was always going to kind of be the case there if it came down to one or the other. But, I'm sure they wanted to keep both. It just didn't work. I kind of respect the fact that the Cowboys have a number in mind for these players. There's a lot of guys that they like. I mean, they like Greenlaw. They like Cooper Kupp. They liked, Rico Dowdle. They like Jordan Lewis, all that stuff. But here's the number, and if it goes higher than that, then they're going to say, it doesn't work out. And so that's kind of where things stood with Jordan Lewis, and it just they weren't willing to go up from that. They have a plan, obviously, and they have to get a lot of things done, and they've signed a lot of players. But I think if you keep going over what your budget is, then obviously it kind of wrecks the plan a little bit. All right, let's go to Lester in Minnesota.
Morning, Nick.
How you doing, Lester?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, I'm just to comment on what Dylan was talking about. I played corner in high school, but I'm the offensive line and defensive line guy, so
yeah.
It's tough for me. I was trying to decide which one too, but we have to stop the run, man, or we just have to. I like Lewis a lot as well. I like his attitude and all that, but we got to stop that run, man. I mean, you got.
Yeah.
So, and as far as us, the 12th pick, now that we've gotten a few free agents in there, I still say go with the Boise State guy, running back if he's there. But if not, trade back and get some more picks. One more thing. I go to church on Wednesday night, so I'm not able to get on the Twitter thing. But I don't even know how to get on Twitter. I don't have any social media or anything. So how do I get on that? Because I heard someone say that they were on real late one time, so I can get on a little later, but I don't even know how to get on that because I don't have any social media. I'm a dinosaur, man. But do you know how to get on that Twitter or whatever it is?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you have to get on the Twitter or whatever it is. It's called X now, and so you'd have to sign up. That's at least my understanding. You have to sign up for that. Get an account. I think Rob from Vegas was the same way as far as he hadn't gotten on it, but then he got an account. You have just like maybe Facebook or whatever. You sign up for X, and then from there. That's where they'll find you for sure. But you would just join the community. It's called Cowboys Storyliners, and then they'll tell you what time it is, and when you get on there, it'll say your group is going live, and it's really not that hard. I've kind of figured it out as well. But the number one thing would be signing up for X. I hate calling it that. It's Twitter. It's still Twitter, so just call it Twitter. But sign up for that, and then from there, they I bet you the Irenes and Dylans of the world will find you and make sure that you're in the right spot.
All right. Well, that's all I have, Nick, man. You have a great day.
All right, Lester.
And until we get a good offensive, defensive line, this is what we got.
All right. Sounds
Go
good.
Cowboys.
Thank you. I don't know why I just pictured Lester to be an offensive line or defensive line type guy. I mean, if that's where your passion is, of course. But I actually appreciate that even more. He's a cornerback. He played cornerback in high school. Still knows the value of the guys up front.
I dropped his Twitter name there for you. Needs to be.
What's it? Lester?
The line guy.
Lester the line guy. Okay. All read together there. I wasn't sure what I was reading there. Lester the line guy.
At Lester the line guy. He didn't sign up like that.
Yeah, Lester line. How about
Lester line?
Lester line. Lester line. All right, let's keep it going here. We've got Dallas Dan. He's calling from Missouri. What's up, man?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm a longtime fan of you, Nick. I followed you around in all the shows.
Wow.
You're the best.
Well, thank you so much. Hey, first-time caller, you know what that means?
I get the bell.
Here we go.
All right.
All right, what do you got for us?
I've got two questions. One, wide receiver, second player, what about Gallup? What's the latest with him?
Okay.
And number two, if they move the center to guard, what centers are available in the draft?
Okay. That's a good. Those are good questions. Anything else, or I'll answer off there.
No.
Okay. Well.
All right. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate you joining the show there, Dallas Dan, and first time caller, in and out, quick. That's good stuff. All right, Gallup with the first question. I think that he's thrown it out there that he would like to get back in the game. And they've I know he had a workout, I believe, in Washington. He's looked at some other teams. The Cowboys have had some interest. I think they have an offer on the table. It's not going to be for a lot of money. It's just like a prove-it deal. I think the ball's in his court now to see if this is really what he's trying to do. There's always a thought when you retire, you don't, for whatever the reason, you don't have it in you anymore. And then when you come back, it's all right. Why did you retire? Is whatever those thoughts, are they gone? Is it back? Is the hunger there? And we've seen it happen. We've seen guys come back and play, and and still have some left in the tank. But I think this is more about, does Michael Gallup want to play football? And if so, is he going to be good enough to play football? So I think the Cowboys, being a team that drafted him and had him here for 6 years, I think that there was certainly some interest if that's what he's trying to do. But I mean, he's going to have to kind of prove it and show that what he can do. I know he met with some people in Washington. That hasn't happened yet, or is probably not going to happen. So don't know exactly where things stand with him. He's if he wants to play football, he's going to probably get the opportunity to do that. He's just going to, like I said, the ball's going to be in his court. And then your next question about guard and center and moving BB potentially to guard. If you did that, you have to have an option at center. I mean, like, you have to have. It's because you're trying to get your 5 best players. So I think they have a better shot at finding guards than they would finding another center. And looking at what they've done, obviously Tyler Smith's your left guard. That's a Pro Bowl, all-pro type player. He's there. He's not moving, I don't believe. And then they signed Rob Jones, from Miami, free agency. He started every game last year, played pretty well. And so I think he's your option there at guard. And so I know that Schottenheimer said he didn't want to necessarily move Beebe just because. It would have to be because there's a better center. So, I mean, yeah, they might draft a center, or they may draft a guy who can play center, and before you know it, you get to training camp, and these are your best options. But I just kind of think Beebe is going to stay at center. I don't think that they're going to move him. I don't think. Now, Brock Hoffman is probably more of a center, but I think Brock Hoffman's going to be your backup at guard, center, just a really good guy to have in the locker room there as a backup that can play 3 positions in the interior. That's probably your best move there. So I think it's a great question, and I think it's something that they're thinking about. But because his offensive line coach at our offensive coordinator at Kansas State, Connor Riley, he coached Cooper Beebe obviously there, and he was a guard mostly. That they moved him to center in the NFL, but I don't think they're going to move him back unless they just have a better option. And right now, that guy's not on the roster right now. All right, let's go to break real quick here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back after this.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbers, pot pie, and potatoes next oval with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's ALTECLANSING.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Cowboys Nation, the Dallas Cowboys United, presented by Globe Life, is now exclusively in the Dallas Cowboys app. Join the official fan club today to receive access to all the new Cowboys drops, feature team news, pre-sale access, fan, and kit of the game. Download the app now to join. And this segment is also brought to you by Yeti, officially licensed Yeti Cowboys gear, now available at the Stadium Pro Shops concession and on Yeti.com. All right, back on Cowboys Storyline. I've had 6 callers so far. I dropped earlier that I was hoping for a special guest. Obviously hasn't happened yet. May not happen, but just throwing it out there. Don't be surprised. All right, John in Delaware is our next caller. John, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I tried to get to you last Wednesday. On the Michael Gallup, I think it would be nice for him to come back, but I think that we need to get younger at receiver and try to put this league on notice. The other thing I had to say was I know what happened last week, but the whole DeMarcus Lawrence thing, I wanted your opinion on it, because the way I look at it is even if we got hot last year and we actually won the Super Bowl, would he be happy with just getting a ring for being on the team because he's barely available?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, no. I'll say this: he would have come back. So that's the thing, and that's why I have a little bit of a problem with it. He would have been back for all of that stuff. So if you're saying winning the Super Bowl and coming back and playing in the playoffs, you would have seen DeMarcus Lawrence on the field. That's a fact, and so. You can kind of take that however you want, but he would have been back for all that. So it wouldn't have been a question of does he get a ring and all that. No, he would have been a participant for that. So
yeah, I just don't know if he would have been much maybe a progress stopper as Brian Broaddus likes to say.
Well, I don't know who he would have been stopping. I mean, they tried to work out every defensive end known to man just to try to get some help in here. So, that was part of the problem. Him and Micah both go down in that Giants game, and they really didn't have anybody that could fill in and be a difference maker. But I think he could have come back at the end of the season, and he probably would have if the team was playing, for in the playoffs and all that. I think he would have come back.
Yeah, I agree. I always like DeMarcus Lawrence, and I feel like, be humble, be happy that you got another shot with another franchise. And I mean, I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way when he came out with all that.
Yeah. All right, John. Appreciate that.
Hey, thank you, Nick.
Thanks for the call. My thoughts on the Tank. I was disappointed to see that. I've never had any issue really with him. I like Tank, but I was disappointed that he went there. And it doesn't matter about when you talk about just how you live your life. You walk by somebody, you might see something, you might have a perception of them. You don't necessarily say everything that you think just because it's true. I mean, that doesn't mean that, it's true. He didn't have to say that. If you saw the interview, he wanted to do that. He wanted to go there and said, I know I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. And you know what? The way I take that, he's right. He's right. He is not going to win a Super Bowl here. And that's probably the same with he's not going to win one in Seattle. But, I think he was a veteran that's been there for a long time. And I think he has showed a lot of leadership skills. Sometimes leaders aren't the best. Sometimes you lead people the wrong way. Sometimes you lead them the right way. I'm not saying I think that his time here is very interesting. If you go back and look at all the things that made Tank Lawrence in the headlines, it was an interesting run for him. He had 4 Pro Bowls. He was a really good player. He's not a Ring of Honor player or anything like that. He's just a really good, solid Cowboy for a long time. But I know this: him and Micah never really got along, and obviously that's evident now. But I think there were some problems with him being the leader and captain of the defense, and then here comes Micah Parsons doing it in a different way. And I think it always was a little bit of an issue of whose defense is this and all that kind of stuff. And I think they're just two different players for sure. But it's funny when that happened, the truth came out rather quickly. Again, I don't have a major problem with Tank at all. I don't think what he said was a good idea. I don't think he needed to say that. I thought it was unnecessary, and it didn't really make a lot of sense as he's standing in Seattle. You know what I mean? I mean that's. There are teams in the NFL on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. Seattle's not one of them, but anyways. All right, let's go to Ali in Florida.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Miss you, buddy.
All right. Well, I'm here, and you're here too. What's up?
Okay, so a couple of things. I want to give a shout-out to Derek because StoryLine is once a week. I'll get a chance to listen to some of the podcasts. And everybody's such a nice people. But my favorite is yours. Anyways, I don't call anybody, but Draft Show and you're my number one. So having said that, I was thinking the way some of these NFL top 10 teams that are being signing a free agent, I think Raiders and Chicago, they are probably chances are get Genty, but I was hoping really, really, really be able to do that for ourselves. But do you have any opinion if we trade up to get somebody, maybe the Hunter, so he can cover up 2 positions? If not, I think on the 12th What do you think about Matthew Golden? And I hang up and listen.
All right. That's good questions there. Tommy Yarish is on our staff, and he's on the draft show, and he's a Texas grad, and he would probably not be able to control himself if we drafted Matthew Golden 12th. Right? I think he's a big fan of his game. That seems high to me, is him at that spot at 12. That seems more like a let's trade back to 17 and then see, let's just get a great player there. And again, that seems a little high, but I'd be lying to you guys if I tell you I studied all this stuff. I mean, I watch college football and I see the guys making plays, and he's one of them. Because Texas played probably more football games than anybody last year. I played a lot of games, but no, I think that he's one that would be up there. Now, trading up, I'm not a fan of for the most part, because they've already lost their 4th round pick. They traded for Mingo, so they lost their 4th round pick. Now they have gotten some other picks, but who are you to move up? You got to move your 2nd probably. So I'm not interested in that, or your 3rd or next year's. I just don't see the player available to move up like that. Now, Travis Hunter, like you said, he would be the guy that you would want to move up for. But from 12, I mean, where's he going to – I just can't see what kind of idiots would let him go past 1, honestly. 1. Like, there's no way. I mean, if I had the number 1 pick in the draft, I would take him. Because I see these other Cam Ward from Miami, or whoever it is, offensive lineman or defense pass rusher, maybe it's the guy from Penn State. There's these guys every year. But that corner / wide receiver player, yeah, he the last time we saw him, he was in 1989. And that was Deion Sanders. And they didn't even know he could be that guy yet. So generational player, I can't imagine him falling too far. If he does, for some reason, if he gets past 4 and he's sitting at 5, get on the phone and see what it would take, because I do think that would be a player to move up for. I just don't see that happening. I don't see the NFL. I don't see that around the league, him getting past 2 or 3, really. I mean, I would go get him right now. All right, let's go to Chris, Saratoga Springs, New York. Chris, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Just want to wish your daughter a happy birthday to start off.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Also want to say I completely agree with being disappointed in D-Law. You got to come out of there classy. And I mean, Jason Witten went to the Raiders. You don't hear him saying anything. He would never say anything like that. I just think he's a little bitter. But there's a better way to handle that. I was definitely disappointed in him. I mean, what did he have, 13 sacks in his last 4 years?
Yeah.
So take a little responsibility for that. Like, you know what I mean?
And you're right. I think that's well said. I didn't even mention that part too. The whole part, the jab at Micah about, well, less tweeting and we could have won more. It's like, well, what have you been doing? Yep. And there's some players and staff and whatever that didn't love the fact that he's sitting there in a suite in the front row of AT&T Stadium while his teammates are there fighting in. And even though you're not playing, you could be down there as opposed to being at a suite sitting there in front row like a fan. So I think that there were also some issues with that. But hey, it is what it is. He wanted to say that. He wanted to make that jab. And then Micah, I give Micah credit for it. Michael's not going to let it slip. And so he's going to say what he wants. And, hey, it's fine. Micah sounds like a guy that's standing up for this team and organization. Sounds like a guy that's probably going to sign here before too long.
Yeah, I agree with that. My other thing is, I don't know why everybody throws so much shade on Brock Hoffman. I mean, I watched this guy. He's rated as Power Football Focus in the bottom, a third of the best linemen. What did he give up, 1 sack last year? I don't think we have a guard problem, to be honest with you. I mean, I think we got him is a good guard. I think Tyler Bass is solid as a guard. I think we more have a tackle problem, to be honest with you, more than a guard. We're focusing more on the guard. I think Hoffman is solid. I don't know where all the shade's coming from on his play, because he's nasty on the field. He's a great teammate. and he can also play center. I just think everybody's throwing too much shade on Brock Hoffman. They're not giving him enough credit, in my opinion. I've watched a lot of football in my life, and he's solid. He's really solid.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. When you just look at the stats, I mean, like he's got enough of a sample size that when he's gotten in the game, they have success. Whether it be center, whether it be guard, some of their best performances of offensive production have been when he's been in the game. And I'm not saying anything about. I mean, Zach Martin is the GOAT. He's the best. Zach went down, and obviously Hoffman replaced him. They got better. It's not necessarily because of that. I'm not saying that was the weak link and all that. I'm just telling you, like he gets the job done every time he's been in. So I think it's more of a look at his stats as far as how tall he is, how big he is, all that stuff. He doesn't look like he would be a player that would help you that much, but he does, and I think he's a great backup type guard center, and he could play. I mean, if you have to start him, he could play. But I still would probably draft another guy, but I like having him on the team. And I agree with you. I think you got more issues at tackle than you do in the middle of the line with T.J. Bass, Hoffman, and obviously Beebe.
Yep. All right. Appreciate it, Nick.
Right.
Have a good rest of your week.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Where are we on time? Looking good. All right. I say that because I have a feeling like this next caller is going to take a little bit of time. Rob in Vegas. What's up?
Hey, Nick. What's going on?
How are we doing, Rob?
Doing better than last week.
All right.
I got to give, credit where credit is due.
What changed?
I think
I can't remember. What happened in the last week that's changed your mind a little bit?
So on the defensive side of the ball, the Solomon Thomas move, to me, good move. Let's call that a push with him and Golston.
Chauncey, yeah, that's fair.
But the two linebackers, especially the kid from Chicago, I think that's a steal.
Hold on, before you go there, I think this is interesting to point out because you called last Wednesday, weren't excited about the moves. I got on the Storyliners that night. I think y'all did one, and I talked. Wow, and that was intense. You were going out. I don't even know who you were going at it with, but it was like wow.
Oh.
Like, yeah, it was interesting for sure. But in that meantime, between the show and when y'all did that, I think you did a little homework on some of those players because I think your view on the linebackers, Sanborn included. So I'm just interested to see like what happened with that and what you saw that you liked.
Well, I wanted Dre Greenlaw. I think
me too.
And they could have got him if they really wanted. So I didn't even know about the kid from Chicago until when they signed him. I remember watching a couple of Chicago games, and I remember this kid, because he was just flying all over the field.
Right.
So so I said, that's a good pick. That's a guy that comes right in. He's just starting middle linebacker right now. I think the guy they got from Tennessee, physically, he looks great. I don't know as much about him.
Yeah.
I go by what Brian Broaddus was talking about. He likes him. To me, what really was the best move they've made is Dante Fowler.
Okay.
Dante Fowler, we could say, well, he's not great against he gets to the quarterback. He's a consistent pass rusher, and now you just took him away from a team you need to be better than. So I think that was the best pickup they've made so far. I agree with the last caller about Hoffman. I like Hoffman. I mean, he's not maybe as big as you would wish or, this or that, but he fights. Do I think they should still get a guard? Sure, why not? And I agree that my concern is the left tackle because we've seen Dak, if he doesn't trust his left tackle, he don't play good. I mean, so draft-wise, living here in Vegas, the Raiders are going to draft Genty. I mean, it's all over the place, especially now they got Gino Casino.
Is that what they're calling him?
No, that's what I'm calling him.
I love that. That's what they should call him, Gino Casino in Vegas.
And let me tell you, they're talking about him in Vegas like he's Troy Aikman, and I'm like, you know who this is, right? So I think with people,
Well, I mean, it's all relative, right? I mean, when they had Gardner Minshew and I can't remember the other guy's name, which is my point. But, yeah, I mean, from what they've had,
yes.
Yeah, and he's an exciting player. You know, he can put up 400 yards for you. He can put up.
He has a good arm. He does.
Yeah.
He has a good arm, and you are right. From what they've had, he is Troy Aikman in their eyes. And listen, I got nothing against the Raiders. I hope the Raiders do good living here. Talking about DeMarcus Lawrence just got dumped by the hot chick. He got dumped by the hot girl, and he's upset because he was dating a 10, and I'm not talking about just the Dallas Cowboys. I'm just talking the city of Dallas. He still lives there. He got dumped by the hot girl. He's upset, and now he's dating a 5 or 6 because they paid him a lot of money, nothing that we were going to pay him.
Yeah.
And you think you would just say, like everybody says, listen, I appreciate everything Jones family did for me, blah, 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 what everybody says, and go take your money and go play in Seattle. But he's just disgruntled because, like I said, as soon as I seen it, I said, "Oh man, he got dumped by the hot chick." And I'm happy that Micah said something. Mike is the leader of the team. He may not want it, he may not even be built for it, but I'm glad he's showing it because he understands that that's what they're going to pay me to. When he gets his, I think it's going to be $38 million. I think that's his. I thought it was going to be 37, but now that everybody got 44, I think he's going to do a 38 number.
Okay.
And he's the guy now. He's the guy. They say Dak is. I don't think so anymore. I think Micah is, and we'll see what happens. But wide receiver, if you're gonna, I would like them to play Turpin in the slot. I think he could do it, and if you're going to put Turpin in the slot, I would like for them to go get Keenan Allen and at wide receiver number 2. And now I think you got a really good combination. Okay. If you're not planning on putting Turpin in the slot, then go get Lockett out of Seattle. He'll give you some more speed because they need speed. So that's just my feeling, and hopefully they make one of these moves, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate that. Good stuff. Turpin in the slot, I mean, I think he can do it at times. I don't know if he's just that guy. I mean, I think he's so unique in what he can do with his skill set that I wouldn't play him just anywhere. I mean, he averaged 6 yards a run last year. I mean, running the ball. And when I'm talking about just reverses here, they ran him right up the middle. Could he live, too long doing that? No. But I'm just saying he has got his own skill set that I hope this year with all the offensive coaches that they've got, that they can look at him and say, what kind of things do we want to do with him? Look at what Kansas City's doing with Worthy. He's all over the place. Turpin's the same type of guy. And so I don't know if he's just a slot guy. I think he's just a weapon that's unique. You don't know where he's going to line up, but you better be, watching out for him. Now, as far as those veterans go, those receivers, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with Keenan Allen or Tyler Lockett. Maybe, I know he's probably got some familiarity with Schottenheimer there, but I like Keenan Allen, but the term progress stopper is going to be thrown in there, especially if they draft a receiver in the top couple rounds. That's probably going to be a guy that's going to be your number 2 if that happens. And then don't forget Tolbert in a contract year, led the team in touchdowns as well. All right, let's go to break here real quick one more time on Cowboys Storyline. I'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together, we cry together, and we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline here. We got a few more minutes to go on the show. If you're watching live, you can see that we've changed the camera angle, which means our surprise guest that we were hoping would join the show did not pan out. I'll just tell you, it was Brian Schottenheimer. He's making the rounds here today, talking to a lot of the just staff here and introducing himself and bringing some breakfast over, and it's been a really cool time for a lot of the people that don't get a chance to see and meet the head coach, and he's doing that this morning, and that's something that we haven't seen around here before. Really a cool thing. As he's swinging by here, I thought maybe we had a shot he could jump in with you guys, but his priority today is to shake some hands and meet some people here that do a lot of behind the scene work, which I think is really cool for him to do that. So that's what's happening today. Didn't pan out. We tried. Maybe though one time we'll get him in, maybe on a different mindset for him when he's here. That would be cool and get a chance for you guys, some of you guys, to talk with him. All right, let's go to the phone line. Zach in Atlanta.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
How you doing? Thanks for waiting.
Yeah, no problem. Shout out to Coach Schottenheimer. Would have been cool to have him on. That'd be fun in the future. And shake your hands, kiss your babies, and win some games, man.
I thought it was going to be you, Zach. I really did. I was like, Zach, this might be his lucky day. Just the way that it worked out when you called, and I was like, this is going to happen. It's going to be Zach in Atlanta, but it didn't. It's okay.
Yeah, I've missed Woody on the past couple of times too. So one day.
One day. All right.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, also shout out to Rob. I've seen his banter about Tank, getting dumped by the hot chick. He's saying that on Twitter. Man, that is great. And also, I mean, I should do it myself, but I'm going to give Rob this trademark idea. Geno Casino, throw a slot machine with some sevens on it on a Raiders jersey. That's money in the bank, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
that's cash in.
That's a really
profit
good nickname.
Off of the Raiders thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a market there. That's a honey hole.
Yeah.
But this is Cowboys Storyline, and here we go.
Definitely.
I think we have to bolster these weapons. I'm not interested in bringing Michael Gallup back. God bless him. He was great when he was here, but, had some inconsistencies and then the injuries. I think the first 3 rounds of the draft, preferably wide receiver. I'm loving Ted if he's there, Ted McMillan at 12. And then we pick up the running back, stretches a little bit better, maybe for round 2 or 3. But yeah, we've got to stack this offense. We have so many needs that you really just take the best player available. But with Schottenheimer coming in, hopefully doing some new, fresh ideas with the offense. I think Turpin has a role, but I'm not really interested in seeing maybe. Yeah, I just think we've seen what we had out of Tolbert, Ryan Flournoy, the Truthers rise up. Maybe he's got something to give, but I think we haven't taken a first round talent. CD was our last 2020 draft, and then we've kind of just sat on receiver. We let Coop walk. Or we traded him, rather, and then we re-signed Gallup. We really haven't invested a ton there. Like truly invested, not just, getting some guys somewhere in the draft. But that's my thought. Curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'll hang up. Have a good one.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for the call. The running back situation's kind of different now just because they've added a couple of veterans. That doesn't mean you don't draft Genty or whatever you were going to do. You can still do it. I think that I'd be surprised if they drafted one in the first couple of rounds and they kept both of the backs, Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders here. But, you know, I mean, you look at other teams and they've got 2 to 3 backs that they're using, and the way Williams runs the ball, you know, I mean, he stays healthy, but, you know, he's a battering ram. And then you've got Miles Sanders, who's, you know, he hasn't necessarily been the same there since his 1,000-yard season, Pro Bowl season in Philadelphia. But, you know, he's still capable, and Williams had the ACL injury 2 years ago, and now this is his second year back. So the Cowboys are kind of hopeful that in the second year back from the injury, he'll be back to form again. And so I'm fine with whatever they do at running back. I think like with any case, you draft one at 12, it means he's going to be special, and so I'm fine with that. But I also think you can probably, with what they have at running back, you can also add one. But don't wait too long. You know, I mean, history shows the backs that are really good and special are drafted in the first couple of rounds. Maybe the third round would probably be the lowest I would want to go there. But I do think they need a young running back. So I hope that they're not just signing those two and said, all right, that we're good at back. I don't think they are. I think that they will. And, you know, but this team needs some more playmakers. I mean, dynamic playmakers. And so if it's there at receiver, go for it, you know, or running back for sure. Tight end, you're probably okay at tight end, but they need to improve. I mean, Jake Ferguson needs to take that step that they thought he would take this year. He didn't take it last year. All right, Rick in Massachusetts next.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. How was your weekend?
Good. Not bad at all. How about you? What's on your mind?
That's good. Happy birthday to your daughter.
Thank you.
Yeah, the previous callers, listening to the draft show and Brian Bross and everybody else, there's not a lot of good centers out in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
So we better just stick with BB.
Yeah.
But I don't think from what I hear, I don't think they're moving anybody. So they're probably just looking somebody to take the Zach Martin role.
Right. And I think it's gonna be Rob Jones for now, you know, and then we'll see, you know, if somebody else, you know, if they draft someone or what happens. But, you know, I would think for the most part is you know, Rob Jones is gonna get a good chance to start.
Yeah, as far as the thing, my thing was that I think they should get a wide receiver at the 12th position, or if there's, you know, or maybe trade back a few spots and get them there. But probably in the first 3 rounds would be like a wide receiver, running back, and, you know, either a cornerback or a defensive tackle or something like that, a one tech.
Yeah. All of those options are good. That's what's good about this team. That's why they're drafting 12th, is because they do have a lot of needs. But you're right. I mean, it's going to be hard to go wrong here. You know, and they're probably going to take somebody that you know, fans may not love. But, you know, as I say, if you love the Tyler Smith pick, then raise your hand. And there's not going to be a lot of people doing that. So, you know, they'll get a guy that they really like, and I think for the most part it's worked out for them. But this is a big draft, and we all know this. They have to hit, you know, with some of these high picks.
Definitely have to hit in their first pick, because they really haven't hit in the first pick the last 2 years.
No doubt. but you know, you're picking 12th. You should be able to do that. You should get a really good player. Last time they picked 12th, that was Micah Parsons. You know, it started at 10, they went to 12. It might go from 12 to 15, or whatever, and pick up more picks. But I think they got a pretty good chance to hit on a player that can come in and help right away. That's the key. You got to get someone ready to play and contribute, not a project player, a guy ready to contribute right now.
Yeah, thank you, and have a good day.
All right, thanks, Rick. Appreciate that. Let's go to Sebastian. He's in Savannah, Georgia. Sebastian, what's up?
How are we doing, Mr. Eamon?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I been watching all the draft shows and all the shows, and I hear people, you know, ask Genty over and over and over again. And I'm actually on the Ashton Jeanty train. Now, if you get him, I have no problem with that, because it's just like a Zeke situation. But if you remember Zeke coming out and Derrick Henry coming out, you can argue that Derrick Henry's had a slightly better career than Zeke has.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a back in the second round that's going to do very well. So I believe that you don't have to go first round to get the back. And then the other question that I have that I find myself asking all the time is, are we a draft and develop team, or are we a draft and draft and draft? Because at some point in time, I feel like we're getting diminishing returns on getting a lineman every single draft towards the first round or second round and stuff, that we're going to have to get somebody in here to actually develop the lineman we have. We have Austin Richards just sitting on a bench. We have all these Bell just sitting on a bench at this point, which they'll get a chance to play this year now that Zach is retired. But I don't feel like we have to have that running back. What I want in the first round is a player that's going to come in here and make a difference, hopefully day one. I don't care if it's a wide receiver. I don't care if it's on the defense. But I actually think that help on the defense would actually help the team overall a little bit more than an offensive weapon in the first round. But I'll hang up and listen. You guys have a great day.
All right. Sometimes when you draft a receiver, that they're not always ready to come in and contribute as a starter. Running backs typically hit the ground running, if you will, a little bit better than that. But I think I don't have a great answer right now because I don't know if they can really mess this up. I mean, they need players. They're going to need if they draft the kid from Missouri, was he a tackle? I mean, that nobody can pronounce probably. Fine, Alabama guard or what LSU tackle, whoever it is. Like if they go that route, I'm fine with that. Now what does that say for Terrence Steele? What does that say for Tyler Guyton? I don't know. I don't really care. Like, you can't just say, well, this is who we draft, we're going to have to go with. No, you can if you can say, let's be better there. So if they're willing to, I don't know, admit that they made a mistake, I don't think they have to admit that, but if they're drafting a tackle, go for it. I mean, he's going to be ready to play, ready to plug in, and should be your left tackle, or maybe he's a guard. I don't know if you draft a guard at that spot, but they did draft Zach Martin at 16, and look what happened with him. But either way, I mean, I could see a cornerback if one fits. I could see a pass rusher always. And again, that might be a little rich based off of who's there. I don't know if there is a guy that's going to be right there at 12. But then again, we still got a month and a half, I feel. Maybe not a month and a half, but we got about 5 weeks at least to the draft. A lot of things are going to happen. Pro days, things are going to change, for the better for some, for the worse for others. So let's see how it goes. But I mean, the Cowboys are in a good spot, and I think they've covered up some of the holes that they've had in free agency to get them in that spot that you always want to draft the best one available. All right, let's go. Lester's back. Lester, what's up?
Hey, Nick. I forgot to say a couple things when I was on earlier. I also wanted to give Hoffman his flowers, too. I heard the other guy say that, and I noticed, like I said, I don't have the 24, 22 or whatever it is camera, but when I watch my Cowboys play, the running back down there not always, a lot of time he ran behind Hoffman. So let's give him his flowers. Also, as we stand right now, this is the line I would have, offensive line. Left tackle, Smith. Left guard, Steele, Beebe, Hoffman, Austin Richards / Guyton.
Who is your left tackle?
As we stand right now.
Who is your left tackle?
Smith. I'm moving him over.
Oh, Tyler Smith. Okay. Sorry, I can't hear you that well. You're moving Tyler Smith to left tackle?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
As we stand right now. I know we got the draft, and we still not finished with free agents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that would be my offensive line right now.
All right. Well, I don't agree with that. I keep Tyler Smith at guard, and the reason why is I think he would be a good left tackle, and I think he's an all-pro guard. So I like to play the guy where I think he's going to be the best. That would be my thought there. Is I would because you're losing a little bit from him playing guard to playing tackle, and then you're losing a lot at your left guard, whoever you're going to replace him with. So, Steele?
Steele's big and strong, and he's good with the run. He's not so good with the pass sometimes. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. He's good with the run. He's strong. Guard, left guard.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the call back. I'm not moving. Now you're just moving guys around just because he's not as good as you want him to be at tackle doesn't mean he's a guard. I mean, it's not like if a corner loses a step, move him at safety. It's a different position, really. And so you got to have and I agree with you, but he's a good run blocker. I still think he's a tackle, though. I think he's a tackle, and I think he's gonna be fine. I mean, Terrence Steele, we've seen offensive linemen around here before that just kind of need different voices, different guys, and different techniques. I think Terrence is going to be a really good player, and I wouldn't move him. I think he's still his best years are ahead of him there at tackle. All right, let's go. This will be our last call, I would think, for the day. Anthony in Miami is next. Anthony, what's up?
Good to be last. Say the best for last, baby. Nick the Quick.
What's up,
my guy?
How you doing?
What's up? I like to shout out old Davian and say, Nick, what it do? What it do?
What's up? All right.
All right, last call of the day. I was just thinking, one quick Cowboy comment, but one comment on what I thought about this show. I was watching some nostalgic shows, and it was a show that I used to love, and it was called Cheers, and it reminded me of this show. And I was like, what reminds me of this show? And the line went like, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Okay.
And that's this. That's this. Everybody wants to give their opinion. This is the basic total call-in show. Everybody has their other shows that they participated in before the show, the inception of the show. And it's become a great show. People got their vibes. You got your StoryLine crew. People are merging, calling each other, and this and that, becoming friends.
Yeah.
Man, that's a great thing. Now for the Cowboys.
What a great compliment to say this show is like Cheers. And if you're too young to know that show, sorry, because it was a classic. So I appreciate that. I don't know whose character is who and all that. I don't know all that. Sometimes I feel like the old coach, you know what I mean, who it was not all there, but or Woody. But no, I appreciate.
Norm.
Yeah. We got a lot of norms. That just sit there when you know where they're going to be. So.
I know that's right. Well,
all right, Anthony.
On the Cowboys front, let's
go.
get it in real quick. If you think you know me, I'm good, baby. Like I said, the bottom line is going to be get me 53 players out there. Field me 53. Once you get through with all this stuff, get me 53 guys that won't quit. And that's why I was so proud of them last season when they finished strong. And we talked about tanking, and I was number one with that non-tanking. And when I heard my guy, Micah, say we ain't tanking, I knew we was going to have something special this year. We may not get the superstar free agents and all that, but we're filling spots. We're stop-gapping right now. You going to tell me Miles Sanders can't do nothing to help this team? Murray can't do nothing? You know what I'm saying? Solomon can't do nothing? Yeah, they can do something. So let's just get this draft thing out the way, man, and let's keep the positivity going, man. We're going to do a little something, man. It's up to the players at that point. We can't blame Jerry no more and stuff like that. So that's all I had to say, man. I'm happy. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
All right, Anthony. Appreciate that. Good stuff.
Next week, baby.
Got bad news for Anthony. He's not last. I know he wanted to be the bookend of the show. He's not. We did have one more caller. It is Josh in Chicago. Josh, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Glad I can make it on today.
You made it. What's up?
Just barely. Hey, so real quick, I was looking back at some of Eberflus's track record when he was the linebackers coach with the Cowboys, and I think he got some of the best out of Hitchens, Smith at the time, later on before, Jalen, right after the injury for Jalen before Eberflus left, and then even with Rolando McClain. So I'm wondering kind of what it was like covering him as a coach for you all in the media and what you kind of expect out of him and whether you think that he can get more out of Damone Clark this season. I'll take it off the air.
That's a great question, Josh. And I said it, I think, last week that Damone Clark is going to get an opportunity to do some things. I mean, I really think that this is last year of his deal, and he's definitely had some up and down moments, and probably not where they thought he would be entering his fourth year. But if there's anybody that needs a fresh start, it would be Damone Clark. And I think if there's anybody that could use a coach in here that really understands this position and understands how to get the best out of linebackers, it would be Eberflus. Now, your question about how it was to cover him, you got to remember, like when you're a coordinator, a position coach, there's not a lot of discussions with the media. There's some you do get some, but not a whole lot. So always good coach, good person, nice, cordial guy to talk to, but you don't really get a lot of interactions there. I think he's going to be good. Eberflus might just be one of those guys, and this isn't a bad thing, but might just be one of those guys that is a better teacher, better coach and teacher than maybe as a head coach. Or maybe he gets a second shot. There's some really, really good coaches in the NFL, some of the best of all time, that didn't have such a great start and actually got another chance and have made the most of that. You can just look those guys up. Some of the best that's ever coached. Saban, Belichick, Pete Carroll didn't always have the best starts the first time around. So I'm not closing the door on that. I think Eberflus is a really good teacher. Like I said, he understands how to get the best out of players, especially a linebacker. And he's got some guys to work with there, and Damone Clark included. All right, guys, great show. Appreciate that. 16 callers. A lot of fun today. You guys we'll be back. We'll be back next week. We'll see what's going on with this all StoryLine team. I need to see about getting a second show. We'll see if we can do that. It might just be a longer extended show, or maybe a second one altogether if that's allowed, so we can announce this all StoryLine team. But we're putting the finishing touches on that. It should be coming out here in the next week or so for sure. So stay tuned to that. And if we do have another show, we'll definitely put that on the schedule and let you guys know of that. All right, for everyone. For Chris Beam, Nick Eatman, see you next time on Cowboy Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?